everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me MG if you'd like, and today I have for you my second half wrap-up of my 90-day time tracking writing project thing that I've been doing all summer. I don't know what I've decided to call this. I kind of keep changing it every couple of weeks, but basically for the past 90 days I have been time tracking my writing, which is something that I've never done before, and I had a little tracker that had columns for each project. I didn't work on a ton of projects in the second half. I didn't work on a ton of projects in the first half either, but I will leave a link in the description to the first half wrap up for you guys. And actually, I think I did work on more projects this time, but most of them were in the other category and were not projects that I meant to work on, so that's fun, but we'll get into that. I do have some numbers for you guys, but I don't think they are right. Because my tracker was for the whole 90 days, I didn't split it up. I had to go in and count things for myself to know just the second half numbers. I think I messed up. I know I messed up. I'm not good at math, so the numbers aren't exactly accurate, but these are estimations of how much work I've done. I will say a little disclaimer here. This is all just documenting when I'm physically working on things, like writing it all down and getting notes out of brainstorming, or if I'm drafting or editing, like stuff that I can quantify how long I've been working on it. This does not include idea generation from just thinking about it, which happens a lot. I will be thinking about my projects when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm in the shower, when I'm on a long car ride. Any of that time is not represented here, so this isn't exactly accurate to how long it takes me to work on things, because a lot of times I'll be thinking about something for a long time and come up with some ideas, but then the only time I actually write down is how long it takes me to write down the ideas that I came up with, if that makes sense. So this was a fun little experiment, but it's not the be-all end-all of keeping track of how long it takes me to write. So without further ado, let's talk about the projects that I worked on. So first up, we have my project Exquisite Corpse, which is a dark academia horror mystery novel that I have been working on for several months very diligently, and it is finally up to the point where I am ready to hit the publish button. That is what I've been focusing on these last few weeks, is the copy edits and the formatting and all of that, and I haven't hit publish yet. That will be later on in the year. It will be going live, but you will get an actual announcement for it sometime within the next couple of weeks to let you know when the actual publication is going to be. There's going to be a whole cover reveal and everything. It's going to be a fun time, but over the past few weeks I spent 12 hours doing the edits and then formatting. The formatting was a whole headache because I had a lot of problems with it this time around that I haven't had with my previous books. Ordering a print copy though, doing more edits in that print copy, ordering another print copy to make sure the formatting actually was correct this time, all of that. So that was not as much time as I thought it would take me to get through these last few rounds of edits, but also I'm proud of myself because that means that it didn't take me long because it was a very clean copy. I think it was pretty dang good, if I do say so myself, and now it is even better with those edits involved. The next project we're going to talk about is one that I thought I would be working on more, but I only did an hour and a half of work on it in the past 45 days, and that is my Sapphic Supernatural Western book. All I've done is compile feedback because this project was off with 3 of my dear writer friends for beta reading for the second half of July and all of August, so most of the time it wasn't with me, so I couldn't work on it, but then I compiled all the feedback and kind of made a rough plan for edits. I just haven't gotten around to actually doing the edits for this next draft, but I plan on doing that later on this month, hopefully, so stay tuned. I want to vlog that experience, so you can check that out when that happens. Fingers crossed it actually does happen, but I am looking forward to doing these edits because I've gotten quite a lot of very good feedback and I have a direction as to where I want to take this story. Then we have 13 and a half hours on a story idea that I came up with at the beginning of September. So it's only been a couple of weeks that I've been working on this, and I have so much time dedicated to it already. And that is a college romance series. It's contemporary. Not at all a genre I thought I would work on pretty much ever, but I had this little story idea that has blossomed out because the muse will do what it wants, and this is what it wants right now. So basically, there are 5 books in this series, and I've figured out the characters for them and like which couple is in which book, and the main struggles of the characters and why this romance can't be together right away. I've worked on plotting like actual points for the first 2 books out of the 5 so far, so making great progress on this, and I'm just gonna keep going with that and see how far I can take it while I'm still inspired for it. And then finally, we have 3 projects that I'm going to talk about together because they are projects that I worked on at the same time or like on the same day. So my little notes section will just say I worked on these 2 projects, but because, or 3 projects in some cases, I did work on all of them in the same day, but because they are all from the other category, the time isn't separated out, so I don't know how much I worked on each one individually. But these 3 projects are Winter's Prisoner, which is a fantasy romance trilogy about a human girl who gets caught up in the politics of the fair folk. We have Always Drowning, Never Dying, which is a sapphic cosmic horror novella that I outlined and drafted. For Winter's Prisoner, I've just been doing some brainstorming and plotting. And then we also have a witchy trilogy that follows 3 sisters. Each sister gets their own book, and I've just been doing character work and world building for that mostly. But between these 3 projects in the last 45 days, I worked on them for 17.75 hours, so 17 hours and 45 minutes. So lots of work. Always Drowning, Never Dying is something that I also meant to go back to this month and have not gotten around to yet. So we are kind of close to the end of the month, only 2 weeks left, less than 2 weeks. So I don't think I'm going to be editing this draft and my Western novel draft, but we can always just push these goals onto next month. It's fine. We can move the goalposts. Yeah, those are the projects that I worked on and how long I worked on them over the past 45 days. My final thoughts on this are that time tracking is helpful in certain instances. I don't think I'm going to keep up with it though. 90 days was a long time for me to pick this project up for. I wish I had done it for a shorter amount of time, like 30 days or something, but I did stick with it for the full 90 days. And I will probably try time tracking again in the future, but maybe like just time tracking a certain project and not like all of my projects and everything, because this was kind of overwhelming. At times I found myself not wanting to write, even though I wanted to write, because I knew that I would have to set up my stopwatch or whatever to track the time, and that was just so tedious and I did not want to deal with it. So it did hinder me a little bit in a way that I did not like, so that is definitely a con. But a pro is that I can see just how much effort I'm putting into this, again with the disclaimer that this isn't exactly accurate, but it still gave me a general idea of how much time I'm putting into each of my projects, and I think that is very valuable information. But now we've come to the end of this video. It was just a nice quick one to let you know how things have been going. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.